Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Old Park Cave Hill branch of the Royal British Legion, can I welcome you here this evening to our service of commemoration and remembrance for the beginning of the Great War of 1914-1918. To begin with, we would start with two of the World War songs that were sung by so many of our soldiers en route to Belgium and France. Thank you, the Blue Star Accordion Band Ensemble. Can I now introduce you to our chairman of the Old Park Cave Hill branch of the Royal British Legion and our chairman for this evening, Mr. Jim Wright.
On behalf of the members of the Old Park Cave Hill branch of the Royal British Legion, can I welcome you all here this evening to our Nights Out on the Shankill event. This evening's proceedings will follow the format as detailed in your order of service. I hope that you all have a copy, and if not, please share with your neighbour. We would aim to finish by 11:15 at the latest. From early this morning, events have been taking place across the United Kingdom, mainland Europe and beyond. In Glasgow Cathedral, representatives of the Commonwealth of Nations took part in the service of commemoration and remembrance. In the Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery in Belgium, the service took place today close to the graves of the first and last Commonwealth serviceman to die in World War I. Early this evening at St Albans Cathedral, a commemorative service was held to mark the centenary, and as I speak, a candlelit procession is taking place to the centre top of Belfast City Hall. All today's events will signal a series of commemorations during the next 4 years that will mark significant battles and periods during what was described as the war to end all wars. The Royal British Legion, as the custodians of our nation's remembrances, will be at the forefront of these commemorations, and as chairman of the Old Park Cave Hill branch, I pledge myself and my colleagues to do our utmost to participate in and support the events here in the Shankill. I now introduce to you Mr. Billy Maloney for a psalm reading and a recital.
Thank you, Chairman. It is my privilege now to read to you some selected verses from Psalm 46, a psalm reputed to have been said and sang by the soldiers of the 36th Ulster Division just prior to the 1st of July 1916 going over the top. Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will we not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the seas. Through the waters therefore roar and be troubled, through the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow, and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted amongst the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. And as I'm sure we will all agree, ladies and gentlemen, that psalm would bring comfort to those who were about to die for king and country. And to that end, if I may move on, I would like to recite to you a short story from a Private Curtis Wellesby of the 1st Battalion, the Mercian Regiment. And it ties in from that First World War. That war was to end all wars, but of course didn't, right up to today in Afghanistan. A true reflection from Private Curtis Wellesby's. When Private Curtis Wellesby's friend Jamie died in Afghanistan just weeks before their battalion was due to return to the United Kingdom, the 20-year-old from Manchester turned to the Bible. Private Wellesby, from the 1st Battalion, the Mercian Regiment, carried an active service testament from 1916 in his body armour. I was upset, I was angry, Private Wellesby recalls. That time in March 2013, we all had our body armour on. I noticed the Bible popping out a little bit from my pocket. I went to put it back, and then I thought, no, I'm going to read it. I need something to make me feel good right now. Randomly, he found himself at Revelation and read in chapters 21 verse 4, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. I read it over and over again, he says, and I thought, there's nothing for Jamie to worry about now. It was exactly what I needed to read, because what happened was so totally devastating and unexpected. Private Wellesby's little New Testament has seen 5 separate conflicts. It first belonged to his great-great-grandfather, J. Greenwood, a teenager who fought in the First World War, having lied, like so many, about his age. It was passed on to his great-grandfather, who took it with him to the battlefields of the Second World War. It then travelled to Korea with Private Wellesby's grandfather, and then here to our own beloved Northern Ireland with his uncle. Its thin pages are worn with use, and it readily falls open, both at chapters of Acts and John. But it was Revelation that spoke to Private Wellesby on his tour in Afghanistan. Arriving in Afghanistan was scary, he recalls. When you leave Cap Bastion, you realise that it's real. It's you and your friends now. I kept my Bible with me in my pocket all the time, and it calmed me down. I thought that God would be looking down over me. I had a sense of him being with me. I would pull it out and read it when we went up patrol, and I had a tingling feeling go through my body every time. Anything could happen. Nobody had a clue what would happen. But when I picked up my Bible, I felt that nothing would happen to us. We got into firefights, but we always got out of them. When we were out on patrols and we would stop, I would pull it out, and the stories in there make you feel happy. I could read it all day. The local kids in Afghanistan used to ask me for it, but I always said no. It had been in my family for so long. I'll pass it on to my nephew. He's only 7, but he already wants to be in the army. All 5 generations of Private Wellesby's family have served in the infantry, the frontline soldiers of the regular army, the bayonets as they're so rightly called. So it is perhaps surprising that both the Bible and the men survived. It means a lot to me, he said. All of my family has read it. I wish I could know what they actually read, but me and my granda were very close, and we both liked exactly the same things. I reckon he had a hand in saying, "Stop at that page." I reckon somehow he guided me to reading Revelation. Private Wellesby's very personal story covers the 100 years since the outbreak of the First World War to this very present day. The war that was to end all wars. It tells us all that when we are in need and we are in fear, we look to a God and we ask him, "Oh God, hear my cry." And that concludes, ladies and gentlemen, Private Wellesby's reflections of his time in Afghanistan and his family's history dating back from that First World War. I now hand you back over to Jim Wright, our chairman, who will speak to you the words of Sir Edward Grey. And then he will also explain to you that whilst that is going on, we would be asking everyone to extinguish their candles on the hour of 11 p.m, the night that war was declared on Germany and Austria and all the enemies of our country. Jim Wright.
Tonight, at this time, in Westminster Abbey in London, will be shrouded in darkness. Its only source of light will be the flickering flame of a single candle, the great, the unknown one. This poignant, haunting tribute will mark the 100th anniversary of our nation's entry into the First World War. And in the words of Sir Edward Grey, the British Foreign Secretary at the time, said, "The lamps are going out all over Europe. We shall not see them lit again in our lifetime." We now symbolically extinguish these candles in remembrance, as an act of remembrance, and ask you to do likewise. And this will be followed by a silence. Thank you.
Their name liveth forevermore.
We now would lay 2 wreaths on behalf of all those who have fallen, on behalf of the Royal British Legion. Jim Wright, the chairman of Old Park Caveville branch, will lay it on behalf of the branch, and Jackie Hewitt, MBE, the vice chairman of Old Park Caveville branch, the Royal British Legion, on behalf of the people of the Shankill Road. We also now invite all those children who are issued with a small wooden poppy cross to come forward and lay it at the base of the memorial. And indeed, any adult who wishes to do the same, please do so now in the next couple of minutes whilst we hear the long reveille at the end of that session. We're hoping some of the children in this time of solemnity don't want to take their crosses home with them, but bring them forward, which is why I give them to them. Thank you all very much. I now call upon Mr. John McVicker of Old Park Caveville branch, Royal British Legion, who will read to us the poem for the fallen and also some verses from John chapter 15. John McVicker.
Certainly works better when you have your speaking notes in front of you and not drop them on the ground. I'd like to read 2 poems. The first is a Remembrance Day reflection to the unknown soldier. How did you feel that morning when the call papers came through? Did your blood run cold or excitement take hold at the thought that your country needs you? How did you feel that morning when the time came to set off from home? Did you conquer your fears or break down in tears? With the loved ones you'd soon leave alone. How did you feel that morning when you first set foot in the trench? Did you brush it aside or wish you could hide from the horror, the carnage, the stench? How did you feel that morning when your friend was blown up by a shell? Did you rush to his aid or just stand there afraid that you'd somehow be whisked off the hill? How did you feel that morning when they sent you over the top? Did you shout with relief or in sheer disbelief, vainly pray that this nightmare would stop? How did you feel that morning when the bullets started to fly? Did you even think then you might cheat death again? Or did you know you were going to die? How did you feel that morning as the lifeblood slipped slowly away? Did you try to make sense of these crazy events? Or with one final breath, try to pray? I want to share with you the words of Gospel according to John, chapter 15. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye except ye abide in me. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. If you keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. This is my commandment, that you love one another, as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. And finally, for those who attend remembrance services, church, here, at the city hall, or watch it on television, you'll have heard what is referred to as the Ode to the Fallen. For those of us in the Royal British Legion, we refer to it as the exhortation. But it's actually part of a poem that was written by Lawrence Binion. And what I'd like to do, before I hand back to our chairman, is to read the poem. It was written in 1914 for the fallen. With proud thanksgiving, a mother for her children. England mourns for her dead across the sea. Flesh of her flesh they were, spirit of her spirit. Fallen in the cause of the free. Solemn the drums thrill, death august and royal. Sings sorrow up into immortal spheres. There is music in the midst of desolation, and a glory that shines upon our tears. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end, and against odds uncounted, they fell with their faces to the foe. They mingled not with their laughing comrades again. They sit no more at familiar tables at home. They have no lot in our labour of the daytime. They sleep beyond England's foam. But where our desires are and our hopes profound, felt as a well spring that is hidden from sight, to the innermost heart of their own land, they are known, as the stars are known to the night. As the stars that shall be bright when we are dust, moving in marches upon the heavenly plain, as the stars that are starry in the time of our darkness. To the end, they remain. They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.
Can I take this opportunity to thank everyone for attending this evening, and to thank those members of our branch involved in organising everything tonight. To the Parks Department staff for facilitating the event, to Jacqueline Armour, Mary Larmour, at Greater Shankill Community Council for printing posters and the order of service, and the staff at Shankill Extra for supporting the event. As you leave this evening, I ask you to remember this. They said that almost every home in the Shankill area received its red map on the door, and the post office telegraph from where I was telling of the death or accident of a loved one. Think back 100 years ago to the sounds of the tramp of soldiers' boots as they marched down this road, not knowing the carnage and butchery they're going to face in the trenches of France, Flanders, Gallipoli, and many other battlefields. Let us salute the glorious dead who lie in the fields of France, Flanders. Let not their names be forgotten, lest we forget. Good night, and God bless and safe over the all of you. Thank you for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the conclusion of this evening's commemoration and reflection, we would now all sing together Ulster's Battle Hymn, Abide With Me. And as we sing these short 5 verses, we could think about those who were singing it all those 100 years ago as they prepared to go forward and die for God, Queen and country, King and country. Ladies and gentlemen, abide with me and lead in from the front.
With me.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And as those men 100 years ago fought for God, King and country, we here tonight in our beloved Ulster reaffirm our commitment to fight for God, Queen and Ulster. And with that, we would close in singing the first verse of our national anthem, God Save the Queen. Save our gracious Queen, Thank you and good night.